All right, so for today's review, we are going to be taking a look at the Klein Tools 32308 8-in-1 screwdriver. Now, this is a stubby multi-bit driver from Klein Tools. I wouldn't say it's a relatively new release, but it is a newer tool for me. I was able to pick this up at my local Lowe's. I was in there looking for some other Klein tools, and I happened to stumble upon this on the shelf and figured I might as well pick it up now that I'm able to get it in the stores and make a video on it. So here we are. Now, it is like most Klein stubby screwdrivers. The only thing is it features 8-in-1 instead of, I believe, the other one. One of the other stubbies that Klein does make is the 6-in-1, is the other one that I have. But decided to get this guy and see what it was all about. So you do have the Klein name that is a part of the rubber handle. Not much rubber handle on this guy to grip, but it is a little bit stubby oversized, so you have to make some compromises. And then on the back here you have some warnings, and then you have your model number. And you do have an arrow there and an arrow there. That is to tell you that the top of the screwdriver comes off, and there is a bit carousel in there. This guy kind of reminds me of some of the Wera and I believe it's Wea multi-bit stubby screwdrivers that they have. They have the little bit carousels in the back for storage and things like that. And then you do have a wide variety of bits there on the back. You got a Phillips number, I think that's a Phillips number 1 or 2. I think that's Phillips number 1, and then I got the number 2 in. Then you got the Phillips number 3, and I believe you have your 3/16 quarter-inch slotted, square 1 and square 2 there on the back, and then I have the number 2 Phillips there on the inside. Now, to get the bits out, it can be a little bit challenging to get some of these bits out since it is a quite small bit and you don't really have a lot of room to work with, but it is manageable, and the bits just do snap right back into place, and then you are able to close it back up. Now, the one thing I'm not the biggest fan of about these screwdrivers is if you break or lose one of these bits, you're kind of out of luck. I don't think I've seen where Klein sells, just replacement bits for this little size. It almost reminds me of the bits that come in that ratcheting set that Klein offers, that little speed ratchet that they have. It almost reminds me that these bits are kind of the same in size. Or they probably are the same in size, but the only problem is you can't get replacements for them. So that's one downside about this little guy, or about these, these smaller compact bit drivers from Klein, is you can't get replacement bits for those. But the tool, it does open and close without any real, struggle to get it open. And the bit driver here on the front, like I said, I have the number 2 Phillips in there. So we'll take that guy out, and there is a magnet on the bottom that holds the bit in. Now, the end of this is also a 1/4-inch nut driver, but the magnet is not strong enough to hold a 1/4-inch screw. So you're going to have to be careful if you want to use this as a nut driver, because that screw can fall out if you move it around a little bit. Now, it is a little bit tight on the at least this particular model, but as you see, all it takes is just that little amount of pressure or a little something, and that screw just pops right out. So beware of that. And then that guy just, again, magnetizes itself in there. Now, this bit holder, I believe, is impact rated, or you could stick it in an impact driver if need be. I'm not sure if the bits are impact rated, but I have a similar set that has this exact same bit driver. It's just a old Klein bit driver set that is impact rated, and this bit is pretty much the exact same on it. So I would think this bit is impact rated, but I'm not 100% sure on that. And then you have 3 different positions to lock in on the tool. So you just insert it there on the bottom. That one's a little bit on the loose side. You can move it up to the 2nd position, and then you move it all the way down. Now, the one thing about this quick insert collet is it's not a quick insert collet, excuse me. The one thing about this collet is the bits don't just lock into there. You do have to move that collet down to get it to lock in. It's not a quick insert. As you see, that is as far as it goes, or you just move that collet and it does go in. Now, this is not limited to just this bit for this driver. If you have some other 1/4-inch, this is another Klein 1/4-inch nut driver, you can click it in. Just be in mind that it doesn't have those locking, like these locking grabbing points on the bit. It will move around. But if you needed to use another bit with this screwdriver, you absolutely could, because it'll still lock onto that 1/4-inch hex right there. But it's going to move around quite a bit, so beware of that. And that's pretty much all I have for this guy. Just like on almost all Klein screwdrivers, they always have a identifier on the back of the tool, and most of the time they have that white paint on the inside that, you know, if they're all sticking in your tool bag, you can easily pick it out and identify it. So that is a nice feature. But other than that, that's pretty much it for this little stubby screwdriver from Klein. Like I said, I picked this up at my local Lowe's Home Improvement. Saw it on the shelf in the tool aisle where all the other, you know, screwdrivers and things like that. I don't think they had them in the electrical aisle at mine, but yours might have them in the electrical aisle as well, where all the electrical hand tools are. Just depends on how your store is laid out. But at mine, they had it over in just the normal tool section with all the other screwdrivers and things like that. But if you don't want to get it in the store, I will leave some links down in the description below where you can have it shipped right to your front door if you don't have a Lowe's close to you or you can't find it at your local store. And I will also leave the product page in the description below that will take you on over to Klein's website, and you can learn some more information about this tool. But with that being said, that's all I have for this video. Thanks for watching.